Hello everybody, Clay Ferg of the Horror Franchise back at it with another video, and it's a very special one and a long-awaited one as well, because for the longest time I have been wanting to do ranking videos. And what better way to do it than to start with the franchise that pretty much made this channel what it is. The Halloween series. Now you've probably been wondering if I was ever going to make this one or any ranking video. I was contemplating this or my fan films. I really came close. I came very close to doing my fan films, the horror franchise as a whole. This channel. So Halloween's going to be the one to do it. I already got them all. Now, I'm not going to go too in-depth with these because there's so many ranking videos, tier lists of the Halloween franchise, and a lot of them are pretty much mostly the same. Some of them a little bit different. But there are 13 movies in total. Without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and get started. So, obviously at number 13, no surprise to anybody, Halloween Resurrection. Halloween Resurrection. What is there to say about this movie? Halloween Resurrection is an absolute dumpster fire. In my eyes, it is the worst in the series in my eyes. It makes Michael out to be an absolute bitch. And the first 10 minutes I kind of liked, but then it completely ruins the ending of H2O, the previous entry in this series, which is actually one of my favorite ones, and it had a great freaking ending too. But Resurrection completely just retcons the ending of H2O, kills off Laurie in the first 10 minutes, and then you have characters that are just boring. Just downright boring, not even interesting. I guess you could say Busta Rhymes is kind of cool, but trick or treat, motherfucker! All that stupid crap. He's kind of fun. But their characters are just, they're flat. They just don't do it for me. There's not really, in comparison to other characters in the franchise, these are the most boring characters. Now, I'm saying a lot of negative things, but there are some very little pros that I will say. The photography is kind of good. I kind of like the photography. I kind of like the lighting when it comes to certain shots, the blue lighting and such, and it makes Michael look somewhat good. But overall, speaking of Michael, as far as his look, is okay in comparison to others that are not so great. The mask, in certain shots, looks good. In certain shots where his eyes are shown, especially when there's makeup on him, not so great. His performance is meh, too. And they, like I said, they made him into a bitch in this movie. Busta Rhymes kicked his ass easily. Michael's supposed to be, like, literally unstoppable killing machine. And, not to mention, another scene that completely just puts it all, just really made him a joke is wherein Busta Rhymes as Freddy, his character's name's Freddy, but we all know him as Busta Rhymes. He's dressed up as Michael trying to do a cosplay. And he just shits on Michael, and Michael turns around and walks away. If you know, you know. If you're familiar with the franchise, you know what I'm talking about. I don't need to go too crazy in depth about it. But Michael would never do that. He would just butcher Freddy. Busta Rhymes. He would butcher Busta Rhymes. The Myers house looks cool. I like the look of it. But the things they did in it were obviously it was for the whole reality TV. The whole movie's premise is about the reality TV at the age. And the movie didn't age well because it's a product of the Scream era from 1996 to the 2000s. And you could tell it was literally made for that specific time. And it just doesn't age well at all because of that. So that bumps it down too. The music's alright. There are some tracks I kind of like. The opening theme is great. I like that opening theme. But it's okay. It's okay. Does it feel like a Halloween movie? Absolutely not. Like I said, there are some redeeming qualities when it comes to the photography and some of the lighting. Michael looks good in some lighting. The kills is another thing I want to point out. They're not that great. Kills are not that great. They're kind of flat, boring. I guess you could say where he smashes that one dude's face in and all that, just crushes his face and all. I guess you could say that's the best kill. But the kills are kind of the same. Some of them. Not all of them, but some of them. But that's at the bottom of the list. I absolutely hate this movie. The only reason I would watch it is when I'm doing a marathon show. And I do that about almost every year. When I do a marathon, chronological order, I do them all in that way. Binge watch them all. This will be it. But as watching it as on its own thing, hell no. This movie just... No, I just hate this fucking movie. I'm sorry, guys. If you love the movie, that's cool on you. Don't kill me for it, please. Don't butcher me in the comment section. Halloween Resurrection is the worst in my list. It's just an abomination of a movie in my eyes. When I was a kid, I liked it. But as I grew older and realized the actual intent of Michael Myers and the whole backstory and the whole doing research, I'm like, yeah, this movie sucks. Number 12. Probably not surprising to anyone else, but it's Halloween 5, The Revenge of Michael Myers. Now, there are some people who actually like this movie. When I was a kid, I liked watching this movie. I watched this movie a lot alongside Halloween 4, because it used to be on AMC, and they would play that every Halloween. It was 2, 3, 4, 5. I watched those the most out of a majority of the sequels when I was growing up. And 5, we would literally record them, bootleg them on a tape, in a VHS tape, and record them. And we would just, with the commercials and all that, and we would watch these. But this movie was the first official downfall of the series. Because, again, like Resurrection, it retcons the ending of Halloween 4. Now, granted, let me go ahead and get the pros out of the way. Jamie is good in this movie. In the last half. In the first half, she's a bit of a mute. But it's her body language, her mannerisms, and all that such that makes it still good. A lot of people kind of butcher that. They overdo it. She is mute, but it's her body language and how she acts. By, I can't believe I forgot her name. Danielle Harris. Look at the back here. Danielle Harris is great in this movie. She was great in Halloween 4. She's great in this movie. Donald Pleasence. This is his most outlandishly craziest performance of all time in the Halloween franchise. He's just batshit crazy. Sounded like Arnold Schwarzenegger for a second, but no, this movie sucks. It's boring. There are a couple of cool kills. Trick or treat! Bam! With the fucking the sickle thing or whatever that is. You know what I'm talking about. The barn sequence is cool. I like that. Some of the characters are okay, I guess. Tina, she's not as annoying as a lot of people make her out to be. Granted, I understand where they're coming from, but she never really annoyed me that much. Now, in comparison to Rachel, which is killed off in the first 15 minutes, who is the hero of Halloween 4, who was the protector of Jamie, gets killed off in the most dumbest way. You see what I'm going for here? How they retcon and they kill off a certain... granted, if you're going to do it right, like they kind of did with the Nightmare on Elm Street series. We may do that in the future, since I'm doing this. But Michael's look is another thing. I don't like Michael's look. Mask looks... A lot of people say it looks like Nicolas Cage. I think it's funny. It kind of does. But it's one of the worst portrayals of Michael, if not the worst. Now, I'm not shitting on Don Shanks, the guy who played him. Given what he was given, what he was directed, the writing, he did what he could. No judgment on him. But it's just the way that it was written and the directing and all that completely just makes him look like a joke in this movie. Now, granted, I would prefer this performance over a majority of the scenes from Resurrection, but it was just the way he was written in this movie. Now, granted, there are a couple of kills, like I mentioned, that are cool. And the cops with the weird music in the background to make it seem like it's comical. The movie is not really taking that serious. Now, that's probably a good thing for a majority of people. There's a charm with it that makes it feel like it's comical at times, not taken seriously. The chase sequences with Jamie and Michael, I like them. There's a couple awesome quotes by Loomis, especially when he goes, "I prayed that he would burn in hell, but in my heart I knew the hell would not have him." I like that. That's probably the best quote, or one of the best quotes in the whole series, hands down. And the whole Man in Black, how they tried to introduce the whole Thorn storyline into this one, was very weird, and you're probably thinking, what is going on here? Now, I do think the Cult of Thorn is an interesting concept, specifically when it plays out in Curse of Michael Myers. We'll get to that. I think it's a great, really cool concept as like an anthology Halloween story or such, but not for a Michael Myers story. But I don't know what else to say. Halloween 5, I don't like this movie. I would prefer it over Resurrection, but I just don't like it. It just completely just ruins Halloween 4. The ending of Halloween 4. Again, retcon. That's going to be a trend with me. I don't like it when movies retcon movies. Or previous installments. Like Aliens and Alien 3, for instance. Terminator 2, Terminator 3. Even though I kind of like Terminator 3. I think they should have just left it alone. But anyways, this one is weird. This one's a weird one. A lot of people consider this one on the bottom of the list. Me, it jumbles a little bit here from time to time, but it's Rob Zombie's Halloween 2 at number 11. Rob Zombie's Halloween 2, when it first came out, I absolutely loved the movie. I'm not joking. I absolutely loved this movie. It was literally considered the best movie I've seen in years. And this was back in 2009. At the time, it was The Dark Knight. How could this beat The Dark Knight? I don't know, because I'm a hardcore Halloween fan. So what do I got to say about Rob Zombie's Halloween 2? I appreciate the creative liberties that Rob Zombie did to make it his own. It's a psychological, traumatic story. Now, we've seen that a lot in the later Halloween movies and other movies nowadays. But this one was done in a way, what if everyone loses? What if you don't fight? What if you don't overcome this trauma? What if you overcome this pain and the misery? The what if scenario plays an effect in this movie. And Tyler Mane kicks ass. Regardless of his appearance, he kicks ass in this movie. He is intimidating as hell. He is a savage bastard. The kills are kind of repetitive here, but they're fucking brutal, man. This is the most brutal Michael Myers I have seen up until Halloween Kills, of course. At the time, I was like, man, I do not want to cross paths with this guy. But it takes place, depending whether you're watching the theatrical cut or the unrated director's cut. I prefer the theatrical cut, personally, because specifically the unrated director's cut, even though it fleshes out more things, it makes Laurie out more of a bitch. I like that more sympathetic side to her in the theatrical version, if you understand what I'm talking about. And at the end of the unrated director's cut, I do not like the ending, how that was portrayed, especially when Michael talks and takes his mask off and tells Loomis to die. I prefer the theatrical ending. There you go. Even though there are things about the unrated director's cut that extends more sequences that I do like, you know what I'm saying. I do like this movie. I don't hate it. But I don't necessarily love it now. Now, at the time, I loved the movie, but as time went on, I was like, okay, yeah, I was overhyped a little bit. I was overexcited. It went down drastically. This one, I can tolerate watching. I understand why people hate this movie. How it's too different compared to a normal Halloween movie. But Rob Zombie did something different, and the series needed something different at the time because even though it didn't work with everybody, some people got it, a lot of people didn't. Me, even though it's this low on the list, I can tolerate the movie, and I can somewhat enjoy it. The performances are actually good. Scout Taylor Compton, she was great in this movie. I'm not going to lie. She was great as this version of Laurie Strode. She really was. I really enjoyed her version of Laurie Strode in this movie. They played it safe with the Rob Zombie's Halloween 1. But this one, they went full-blown, like, holy shit, what's going on? And Loomis, Loomis, I don't like. I don't like Loomis. He's an absolute dickhead. He's supposed to be the good guy, the guy you root for, but they don't. He's just an absolute cockhead. Cockhead, that's an interesting word. But even though he kind of redeems himself at the end by sacrificing himself to save Laurie. But I mean, not everybody deals with trauma in different ways. And I like how it presented that story about trauma. And I know I'm not going too crazy in depth with the story and such. Like I said, I'm not going too crazy in depth. I'm just telling you my pros and cons with it. But that is what it is. We're going to move on to the next one. The kills are, even though there's some repetitive, they're brutal as hell, and Michael was presented as intimidating as hell. His look is not my favorite in the world. The whole half-mask down later in the movie, I kind of like his look, but I don't at the same time. Now, the hospital scene, I'll say right off the bat before I move on, the hospital sequence is my favorite part of the whole movie. That should have been the whole movie, but hey, it is what it is. Next up on the list, Rob Zombie's Halloween 1. This was the first Halloween movie I saw in the theater. I went with my dad. And man, I did not expect it to be the way it was, man. Them first, few minutes when all this white trash trailer talking going on here, and you're like, whoa, what the hell did I walk into? It's a different take of the Halloween franchise, and I think it needed that. I think the series needed an absolute revamp, especially after the massive failure of Halloween Resurrection. Where do you go from there? Rebooting a series seemed right. And Rob Zombie, his style of filmmaker, whether it hits with you or it doesn't, it's back and forth with me. I like it, but there are things I don't like about it. The white trash trailer talk crap, I don't like. But his gritty take into this deep, realistic, grounded in reality, gruesome take, I think it was necessary for this type of movie. Now, giving Michael a motive and a reasoning to kill, I don't like that. But even though it's a remake, it's a reboot of the series, it was necessary for this type of story. He wanted to do something different. I think the series needed something different. Tyler Mane. What's the kid's name? Here I am on the credits again. Doesn't even say his name. Anyways, you know what I'm talking about. I think the kid did great for little Michael. Tyler Mane was freaking savage in this movie. His look, I absolutely love his look in this movie. He looks awesome in this movie. He is intimidating as hell. He is a monster from hell. 7-foot machine, man. He is a murderous bastard. The kills are awesome. The shaky cam, I prefer the steady cam, but more presented steady cinematography. But the shaky cam, I think it kind of works with this grittiness that we're going for. I think Loomis definitely is better in this movie compared to Halloween 2. Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. I think Laurie was good. Scout Taylor Compton as Laurie was good, but she's not as awesome as she was in Halloween 2. I think Danielle Harris coming back to play as Annie was cool. A nice little reference, throwback to Halloween 4 and 5. It was nice to see it. The music is awesome, by the way. I forgot to mention that about Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. I really like the music. Even though the music was not really, the main theme wasn't present in Halloween 2, it's present in this one. I really like the music. I like how Shuri Moon Zombie, who played as the mom, I think she was good. I think Brad Dourif playing Sheriff Brackett was good. I think I like the cast of characters in this movie. It was nice. It was cool. The story is just... The first portion of the movie was pretty much the origin story of Michael. I kind of like that. But I'm a Halloween purist. I would rather have Michael be mysterious. Blank slate. You don't know what makes him tick. That's more frightening. Then the next half is pretty much a revamp of the original. Now, obviously, the original is the best of all time. Spoiler alert. We all know this. I do enjoy this movie. But the overall, as far as terms of a remake, it's not a good remake. It's not a faithful remake. But I do still enjoy the movie for what it is. The kills are great. Michael's intimidating as hell. The cast is cool. I like the cast of characters. The setting is cool. Some of the photography can be cool, but it's shaky cam and all that. It just doesn't work for me. But Anyways, next on the list. This is where it kind of just, it's more in the middle here for me. Am I going to have enough time to finish this? Anyways. Halloween, The Curse of Michael Myers. Now, this is where the whole Cult of Thorn comes into absolute play in this one. As I mentioned earlier, the Cult of Thorn story, I actually like. I think it's interesting, but not for a Michael Myers story. Had there been like a Halloween anthology story, I think that would have been cool as hell. Just take Michael away. It doesn't work for Michael Myers. Whether you like the producer's cut or the theatrical cut, for me personally, I haven't watched a theatrical cut in years. Since this, I have the box set that includes the producer's cut for this one. I watched the producer's cut more. I think it's more of a fleshed out story, even though it's still kind of convoluted mess. I think it fleshes out Jamie more a little bit. Loomis definitely is more prominent in this version of the movie. Theatrical version, the music is kind of like more metal, like electric metal, I guess you could call it. I kind of like that music, but I think the music that has that more Halloween 4 and 5 vibe for the producer's cut is a little bit better. Michael looks good, I'll say that. And the kills in the theatrical cut are better than the producer's cut. I will say that. Michael looks good. I like his design. The mask, I actually have a copy of the mask. If you've seen one of my fan films, you would have noticed that. But I like that mask. Definitely better than 4 and 5. I will say that. And even better than Resurrection so far. The mood and atmosphere is the best I've seen since the original. Haddonfield, the town looks great. The leaves, the ambience is great. The lighting is great. Michael looks great. The kills in the theatrical version is better than the producers, but they're still cool kills. This is Loomis's last, Donald Pleasant's last time as Loomis, and he's definitely dumbed down back to his more sane self. I like that aspect of him. He's more old and tired in this one. Tommy Doyle comes back. Paul Rudd before he was Ant-Man. He was okay. I think he was all right. He was kind of weird in it, but he was all right as Tommy. I like that they brought the character Tommy back in this one, and the whole. You get to find out who the Man in Black is. He actually turns out to be Dr. Wynn, who is the head of the sanitarium Michael was in, and a close friend of Dr. Loomis. It kind of just tries to answer the questions that Halloween 5 pretty much made. Even though it doesn't fully execute it, you get to learn new things, and it fully fleshes out that cult story. The producer's cut makes Michael out to be a... do I dare say the words? You know what I'm talking about when it comes to Jamie? That's the thing I don't like about the producer's cut. It fleshes that aspect out, but in the theatrical cut, you don't know for sure. It doesn't really answer that. But I can't. Like I said, I'm not going too deep. But if you know, you know. I know I'm rambling. I didn't fully prepare it this way. If you don't like it, then you can just watch somebody else's ranking. But this is just my pros and cons with these movies and in terms of enjoyment. There are things I really like about it. There are things I don't really like about it. But with that being said, moving on to the next one. Mood and atmosphere is great. Michael looks great. Some of the kills are cool. The Loomis's last movie, back to his normal self. Tommy Doyle coming back is cool. Finding out who the Man in Black is. The concept and idea of the Cult of Thorn is really cool and interesting in my eyes. A lot of people don't like that, but for me, it's cool. It would have worked better as an anthology movie or just something else entirely. But it doesn't work for Michael Myers at all. Next up on the list, this one's a controversial one and a hot take. This one is probably on a lot of people's last list. And that's the most recent one from 2022, Halloween Ends. Now, going into this movie, I kind of had a hint that it was going a different direction. Again, I still was kind of disappointed when I walked out of the theater. But as time went on, I like the movie a little bit more now. Even though I still enjoyed Halloween Ends. There are quite a few things I don't like about this movie. Now let's get the pros out of the way here. The quality of this movie and the David Gordon Green trilogy as a whole is awesome. The photography's great. The lighting's great. The sound, the kills, the makeup, the look of Michael, Laurie Strode. Awesome. Michael Myers is James Jude Courtney as Michael. Great, even though he's dumbed down heavily in this movie. When he is prominent, he does a great job, given for the writing and the directing. Corey Cunningham. I really dug his story. The Descent into Madness story, I like that stuff. I like Christine. It's heavily influenced by Christine, if you didn't know. You can tell. It's heavily influenced by the movie. I really like Christine. The story of Corey Cunningham, I liked his story. I was invested. What was going on? You feel for the guy. You're sympathetic for him, but as you kind of root for him towards the end, which you shouldn't really do, but hey, it is what it is. It feels the whole like the town is trying to find their new boogeyman aspect. I like that idea, since Michael was pretty much missing after the events of Halloween Kills. I think Allison was definitely more fleshed out in this movie, and that she gets a relationship with Corey. It's kind of weird too, but hey, it is what it is. At least she does something in this movie more than she did in Halloween Kills. Halloween Kills is just filler. It's clearly filler. But we'll get to Halloween Kills. Halloween Ends, I know it's a highly controversial movie. It's a highly controversial movie. But there are things that I really like. The music is fucking fire. The music is epic in all three of them, of the David Gordon Green trilogy. Fantastic. My favorite scene in the movie is the final fight between Michael and Laurie. Even though it was short, it was cool. It brought them to head. The stuff with Corey and Laurie that was going, their beef, it brought Michael out after Corey took his mask. One of my least favorite scenes in the whole of the series. You made Michael look like a wimp in that one. Now, we'll get to the negatives about Michael here shortly. It's a Haddonfield story. Laurie gets her closure. Allison gets her closure. Michael gets killed. Finally. But, yeah, I like how they made it feel more like a Haddonfield story as a whole, and how the town is just traumatized and bothered by what happened in Halloween Kills and even Halloween 2018. I like that aspect. Laurie finding closure and all that stuff. She gets a happy ending to some degree. Not a lot of horror movies pull that off. Now, does it execute it perfectly? No, it's not executed perfectly. But I'll take what I can get. Now let's get to the cons. I don't like how Michael was portrayed in this movie. Even though James Jude Courtney did a great job. For what he was given, Michael being completely weakened, injured, an old tired man, dying. Written on paper is understandably done. I understand where it was going. I understand why Michael was the way he was. But after what happened in Halloween Kills, Michael is supposed to be, you don't know if he's human or supernatural, okay? They kind of lean more into the supernatural part when it comes to Halloween Kills ending. And then you see him again, just as an old man who's dying, infected, injured, weak, living in the sewers. I don't like seeing that part of Michael. Michael should never be shown that way. He's a blank slate. He's emotionless. And the whole sidekick thing with Corey, Michael would never do that. Michael, even though, like, the whole, I see something in your eyes, Corey, you're just like me, that kind of crap, passing the torch to Corey or whatever, I don't like that aspect. The Corey Cunningham story, I really like. But I think if I had my own theory of how it should end, I think Michael should never have been in this movie. I think the whole final fight with him and Laurie should have been in Halloween Kills. And that should have been it. And have the whole third chapter be about finding closure. They're finding the new boogeyman. And I can't say retcon. I don't think it's a retcon. It's not that big of a retcon if it is. Kinda is. I don't know. Maybe I do know. I just don't like how Michael was portrayed in this movie. I know a lot of people don't. And Michael Myers is not in it he's only in it for like 12 minutes screen time. And granted, when he is in it, I do like it when he's in it, except for a couple of moments. Specifically when Corey fights Michael and gets Michael's mask and takes it away. I don't like that at all. That was a bitch move. It made him look like a bitch. Buster up, trick or treat, motherfucker moment. I'm like, no, don't do that. But anyways. Michael gets one good kill. It's a classic Bob kill pretty much on the girl, the nurse. But really, it should not have... I do enjoy watching Halloween ends. I do. But it's a 50-50 thing with me. They just dropped the ball with that, to be honest. They dropped the ball. I walked out disappointed. But there were things that I did really like about the movie. I think there could have been a better ending. The final fight with Michael and Laurie, awesome. But it is what it is. They're going to reboot the series in the future anyway, and hopefully it reboots in a bang, and oh my god, I'm losing battery life. Anyways, next on the list is Halloween Kills. Halloween Kills. I enjoy the hell out of this movie. It's dumb as hell, but it's fun. Of course, it's got its flaws, its pros and cons. So let's go ahead and get the pros out of the way. Michael is a freaking beast in this movie. This is the most savage Michael I've seen since Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. He looks great. James Jude Cordy this is his best performance as Michael, hands down. Laurie Strode takes a backseat in this in a majority movie. She does do kind of a little bit. The whole mob mentality is portrayed heavily in this movie. Evil dies tonight! Evil dies tonight! Oh yes, chant that 100 times. I wasn't too bothered by that whole chant, but I could see how people were bothered. The dialogue's kind of blah, campy, crappy. I did this after 40 years of this, after 40 years of that kind of shit. You know what I mean? They just keep repeating the same crap like people are dumb or something. But really, this movie is just chaotic fun. That's all it is. It's pretty much centered around Michael killing people all through the movie, when the other portion of the movie is about Laurie at the hospital while they're trying to figure out, oh my god, he's coming here, he's going to kill us with, what's Laurie's daughter's name? I'm forgetting her freaking name, by Judy Greer. Karen. Karen's kind of... I'm not too annoyed by Karen. I know a lot of people are annoyed by Karen, but she doesn't annoy me too much. I think Judy Greer did a good job. She definitely shines more than she did in 2018. Allison kind of takes a backseat a little bit in this one. I think it's great that they brought the legacy characters back. Sorry, everybody. I know I had to change up on camera to phone here because my camera decided to die, and we're in the middle of a ranking for Halloween Kills here. So anyways, back to what I was saying. Legacy characters come back. Marion comes back. Lonnie comes back. Lindsay comes back. And Sheriff Brackett comes back. So, killing majority of them off was kind of a bullshit move, but I didn't like that very one bit, especially how Marion died and all that. But Lindsay makes it, and it is what it is. It looks great, sounds great, the kills are freaking amazing, the photography's great. That's just kind of the trend with the whole trilogy as a whole. But the negatives, it's just filler all the way through. It's just filler. Nothing really too crazy happens. It's just a chaotic, fun mess is all I can say about the movie. But other than that, really just the campy dialogue and just the writing wasn't that great. And the pacing, it's got pacing issues as well when it goes from Michael killing people to the hospital segment. The hospital stuff I don't really care about, to be honest with you. Even though the movie is fun at times, there are some bullshit moments, especially when the mob of Tommy Doyle mistakens one of those patients that escaped from the bus in 2018 for Michael and all that. You'd think you would know who Michael is. Like, come on. You'd think you would know who Michael looks like, especially when they show his face on TV and all that. Like, the mob mentality, I think it's an intrigue. I don't think it was really executed that well. The whole part, it's kind of like Jason X. A lot of people don't like Jason X, but it's dumb fun. It doesn't take itself too seriously. I kind of think of that when it comes to Halloween Kills. Halloween Kills is just dumb fun. I do enjoy Halloween Kills. The stuff with Michael is fantastic. Photography is great. Sounds great. Kills are great. What else can I say? If you're a hardcore Halloween fan, you probably won't like it. I'm a hardcore Halloween fan, alright? I don't consider all these movies canon. The original's the only one canon in my eyes. The rest of them are just pure entertainment, guilty pleasure, all that. I do enjoy Halloween Kills for what it is. But it's got a lot of stupid moments in it. Alright, now these are the ones that I truly do enjoy as a whole when it comes to sequels and such. And our runner-up is going to be Halloween 3, Season of the Witch. Halloween 3, Season of the Witch, the only one that has nothing to do with Michael Myers. When I first saw this movie on TV, I was thinking Michael was in it. Boy, was I wrong. And throughout the movie, I'm thinking, oh my god, that guy might be Michael. Oh, Michael's right there. Oh, but then I realized that's not Michael. I do like this movie after watching it a few more times. It's really enjoyable. If you take away the fact that it's a Halloween sequel, or supposed to be a Halloween sequel, that John Carpenter originally envisioned it to be an anthology series. A lot of people didn't like that, so they went back to Michael, the fourth one. It makes you wonder, what if this movie was a hit? What if it was a hit and we went the anthology route? Where would Michael be today? That's a good question right there. Tom Atkins. My favorite part of this movie. I really like Tom Atkins. I think he was cool in this movie. Kinda cool. Kind of drunk, but yeah, we get it. There's something about Tom Atkins in the movie that just does it for me. I just like his character. Even though some of the things he does is not so great. The other girl, they go on an adventure to try to find out why the girl's dad was killed in the beginning of the movie. And I'm getting off topic about the story, but I don't go too depth. I don't want to go too depth in the story, but the pros of this movie, I appreciate that they went their own direction with it. It has a Halloween vibe for sure. It feels like a Halloween movie, its own Halloween movie. I like the characters in this movie. I like the mood and atmosphere of the movie. I really like the music in this movie. I really like the music in this movie. The ending is messed up. You just don't know whether "Stop it!" actually does anything at the end by shutting all the channels down from the big giveaway. And probably one of the most iconic freaking Halloween music of all time. Oh my god, Silver Shamrock. Once you hear it, you can't get it out of your head. My god. I remember hearing it over and over. I'm just like, please, stop. It's driving me mad. But I know that when it comes to the cons, it's goofy as hell. This is another one of those movies that has a lot of... It doesn't take itself too seriously. It's goofy as hell at times. And, just dumb fun, I guess you could say. Not as dumb as Halloween Kills, but it's just fun. I like the things that they did with it, even though it doesn't hit home with everybody. At first, I didn't like the movie at all. But after rewatching it a few more times, I'm like, okay, this is not that bad. You're kind of looking at it from a different perspective. I really enjoyed the movie. I do enjoy it. It's in the middle of the list for me, and it's rightfully so in the middle. I appreciate in terms of the quality of it. It's not the greatest quality in the world, but the creative process into it. It was really cool. I think Tommy Lee Wallace, the production designer of the original Halloween, directed this movie. So, hey, it is what it is. There's some really cool things I like about it. Some things not too crazy about it, but the good outweighs the bad in this one. I really do enjoy Halloween 3 Season of the Witch. It's fun as hell if you take your brain away from the fact that Michael was not in it and all that. So, let me get this out of the way. Again, I apologize. The fact that my camera died and I have completely switched to a different thing here. To my phone. Next on the list. Halloween 2018. I was so hyped for this movie. Especially after years without a Michael film. The last movie that came out was Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. And at the time, I loved the movie. But again, rapidly as time went on, not as much. I was so hyped for Halloween 2018. Then I saw the movie. I remember when I saw the movie too. I remember it vividly when I saw the movie. And I remember walking out feeling a little disappointed. But then the more I thought about it, I was like, it's not as bad as I think it was. I do really like this movie. Again, like I said about the other two, Kills and Ends. The quality, the acting was pretty good in this one. Michael, the real Michael, comes back. Portrayed as James McCourty. The original intention of Michael comes back from the original. That was the thing that sold me about this movie. Bringing the original intention of the character returns after so many years. The fact that Laurie Strode comes back. Jamie Lee Curtis. Fantastic. The whole concept of 3 generations of trauma with Laurie Strode, Karen Strode, the daughter, the granddaughter Allison. I like Allison. I kind of like Karen, but I like Allison more. Some of the characters I really liked in this movie, especially when it comes to Will Patton playing as Frank, the cop. I really like Frank. He's a cool guy. I like Frank a lot. Dr. Sartain, he's a mixed bag. I'm sure with a lot of you it's the same. But just the mood and feel of it, it feels somewhat like a Halloween movie at times, but it doesn't. At the same time, it doesn't. That's my kind of a con for me. But I think the quality of the movie is really good. The music is just amazing. I love the music in all 3 of the movie. I think the Halloween theme and Ends is my favorite of the 3, with this being second. The music is absolutely amazing in this movie. Michael Myers, the mask is perfection. Aged up. And if you see Nick Castle, which he has a couple of scenes in the movie, especially when he has the head tilt in the window when Laurie sees him up in the house, that's Nick Castle. When he's putting on the mask, he puts the trunk down, you can tell that's the head shape of Nick Castle. When I saw that, I was like, that's the real Michael. There are some really cool kills in this movie, especially when you see the aftermath of kills, all the kills he's done, and you're thinking, Jesus, what happened here? There's a little bit of suspense in the movie, specifically during the final half of the movie where the final confrontation's happening. The stuff with Michael and Laurie at the end was great. I really liked the final confrontation with all 3 generations of trauma fighting this evil being that has ruined their lives completely. And James Stu Courtney kicks ass. What more can I say? Dr. Sartain. Let's get back to that. He was okay. He wasn't no Dr. Loomis. But then the whole twist, where he supposedly kills Frank, but that pretty much gets retconned and kills. I was like, what the hell is going on here? I was like, it just threw me off. I'm sure it threw off a lot of people. It was weird. It just gave me a weird vibe. I was like, okay, this doesn't really work very well. It's kind of cringe. But it was over after a couple minutes anyway, so it was just done and gone. Obviously, my favorite kill in the movie is when Michael stomps Dr. Sartain. Say something. I thought that was smashed him like a freaking pumpkin. Love that reference. I thought that was cool as hell. But no, I do like this movie a lot. There are a couple of flaws I have with it, but overall, I think it was a great return to form for the series, and the fact that James Dean Courtney literally made me feel like this was Nick Castle's Michael from the original. So it is the best of the trilogy. That one ends as being the worst of the three. Even though I do enjoy ends to some degree, but the trilogy as a whole, it's very flawed and convoluted mess. Even though when it comes to the quality of filmmaking, I absolutely really like. All right, now next up is definitely a fan favorite, and these top four right here. Absolutely just enjoy these movies. And up next, Halloween 4, The Return of Michael Myers. The first return to form of the series after Halloween 3 Season of the Witch failed horribly at the box office. Halloween 4, there's not really many bad things I have to say about this movie. Let's get the pros out of the way. The return to form, 10 years later, Michael Myers escapes from the sanitarium after being transported, okay? He goes after the niece, Jamie Lloyd, portrayed by Danielle Harris in her first film, and she knocks it out of the ballpark, man. She does a fantastic job in this movie. She does a fantastic job in Halloween 5. Since you already know that you've gotten this far in the video, you know what I was talking about with Halloween 5. I absolutely do not like Halloween 5. But this movie, it's just the mood, the atmosphere, the music, the cast of characters. This is by far Loomis's best one. Best performance, best movie in the Halloween franchise aside from the original. I think Michael Myers is a mixed bag for me. I would prefer this version of Michael over some of the Michaels that are not portrayed very well. His mask, I don't hate the mask. But I don't hate the mask. I don't love the mask. It's in the middle for me. The pale white face. There's some shots it kind of looks freaky, especially in the dream sequence in the beginning with Jamie. Certain shots, he's actually kind of creepy. Especially with the thunder and all that, the lightning and the lighting of it. I was like, ooh, he looks kind of creepy in them shots there. But then there's certain shots where it's just like, whoa, Michael, what the hell happened here? And especially that part where he throws Loomis out the window and you can obviously tell it's a pink mask with the yellow hair. And I already know the story behind that, where I guess they were so tired that they just didn't have the white mask, so they just grabbed a random mask. And even though it lasts for like a second, you can still tell it's a different mask. But anyways, there are some cool kills in this movie, of course. Cinematography is great. The sound's great. It's just... my favorite part about this movie is just the mood and atmosphere of it, and the vibe of Hal of Haddonfield, just like Curse of Michael Myers. And just the music just elevates the shit out of it. And the blue lighting is fantastic. It's got great characters in it. Characters that you like, some of them not so much. The sheriff. Sheriff Meeker is a badass, alright? I really like Sheriff Meeker. I forgot to mention him about Halloween 5. He's still cool in Halloween 5, but I think he was better in Halloween 4. He was definitely more presented in that movie. And he's not like Brackett, where he's doubtful of Loomis. He's like, all right, I'm right behind you, brother. Let's do this. Especially after the freaking police station gets wiped out by Michael. And then the whole mob mentality as presented in Halloween Kills is in this as well in Halloween 4. With a bunch of drunks or hillbillies or whatever you want to call them. I think it was handled better. Because it's more dumbed down and small-scaled. And I think it works better that way. More simplistic. Simple and effective. An ingredient that works with the Halloween franchise. That should work with the Halloween franchise. But yes. Rachel. Forgot about Rachel. Rachel's a great protector of Jamie. I really like her. You're kind of like, she's kind of a bitch, though. She doesn't treat Jamie that great. But as the movie progresses, it's really the story of Jamie and Rachel that I think is the best part of the movie, aside from the mood and atmosphere and such, where they grow a bond throughout the movie. I love that. I just love it. And it works. And it's even more effective by the end of the movie, where Jamie is so traumatized and fucked up, she touches Michael's hand. I don't know if that has anything to do with triggering what happens to her at the end. It could. I think it might, but who knows? she ends up killing her stepmother. And here she is wearing that clown outfit with the scissors in her hand. And Loomis, this is what made me sold as Loomis's best performance. No! 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 Tries to shoot her. He's like, oh my God, it's happening again! It's happening again! Oh, dude, that was a fucked up ending. That was like, what? Oh my God, after everything Loomis has been through, that happens again to him. After he tried to save this girl, that happens. And it traumatizes, I mean, he just loses his mind. I understand why he loses his mind in Halloween 5. But it's just, the performances are really good. The characters are great. Michael, he's 50-50 with me. His performance is a little weird, especially with the hockey pads, by the way. I forgot to mention that. The mask is 50-50 with me. I prefer it over certain masks. But it's completely blank. It doesn't have that charm of the original. And the second one. Speaking of the second one, the original Halloween 2 is next on the list, number 3. Halloween 2. It pretty much picks up right where the original left off. The tone, the atmosphere, the feel of it carries over to this one. Michael is still good in this movie, but I'll get to the cons about him later on. He looks good. The mask is the same as the original, just wider because they had a different actor playing him, Dick Warlock. Laurie's back, Loomis is back, Brackett's back for a short period of time. It's just a continuation of the original. It just, even though it's like an updated in terms of quality and such, they up the ante when it comes to the blood and the kills and such, because at the time this is where Friday the 13th series started kicking off, and it's the horror movies were definitely the shining knight of the 80s, the early 80s, and Halloween 2 had to compete with that. So, but really, mostly it just feels like it's more of the same from the original, just dialed up to 11 when it comes to the kills and such like that. Loomis's performance is more developed. Laurie's comatose through a portion of the movie, but then by the end, she's definitely more useful and all that. And I don't have a whole lot of bad things to say about the movie. Now, Michael is kind of my least favorite part of the movie because of his robotic movements. Dick Warlock, for the most part, I think he did a good job in certain moments. But when he's got that robotic movement going on, especially coming off of Nick Castle from the original, stiff, I don't like it. I just don't like it. It's not my favorite performance of Michael. Even though there are some parts I do like, how he's portrayed, the kills are cool, the hot tub scene was really brutal. It's just certain moments he kind of is normal, but then he's robotic movements and all that, I just don't like. Overall, I definitely prefer this look. I prefer it over some of the performances. Of course, James Drew Courtney's better in my eyes, but hey, it is what it is. Halloween 2, was it a necessary sequel? No. But do I enjoy it? Yes. I do enjoy it as a sequel to the original. It is the closest to feeling like the original, and it's a continuation. Taking place in the hospital, has an explosive ending where Loomis supposedly sacrifices himself to save Laurie, blowing up Michael. Laurie shooting Michael in the eyes was really cool. The final act just kind of makes up for the whole suspenseful, slow build that it had. And it just ups the body count. It's literally the original, just on steroids, I guess you could say. It's amped up. It's cranked up to 11. There's just more kills, more bloody kills. Michael's more savage in this one. But I do enjoy this movie for what it is. And it is, I feel like it's a necessary sequel to the original. Was it needed? No. But it was nice that we got one. And I like the fact that it's a continuation of the original. Literally like a moment later after the original. Now, number 2. This one is on a lot of people's lists that are just straight up, either it's around the top, the middle, or the bottom. Halloween H2O, 20 years later, is at my number 2 for damn good reasons. It's the first Halloween movie I saw. When I was 6 years old, I was sitting on my mom's waterbed, and I remember seeing the last act of the movie where he's chasing Laurie, John, and his girlfriend. And I was like, who is this guy? He's pretty cool. He's scary. At the time I was 6 years old, I didn't know better. So we went to a Hollywood local VHS store. I didn't know which one I watched. So I randomly picked the original. And it was one of the best decisions I've made, and probably my mom's least best decisions that she's ever made, buying this movie for me. And ever since then, it began. This obsession with Michael Myers, Halloween, where I am today, doing this. It all began with this movie. Couldn't be any more grateful. Now, after Halloween the Curse of Michael Myers pretty much let the series fall off before it completely died, Jamie Lee Curtis wanted to make a 20-year celebration reunion. I'm not going to go too in-depth about it, but this was the result. Here's the pros that I will say about it. Jamie Lee Curtis coming back is great. This is her best performance in my opinion. Hands down. Her story comes full circle in this movie. I love it. Halloween, Halloween 2, H2O as a trilogy, that storyline, amazing. Amazing. I love it. She's a drunk in this one. Yeah, whatever. She's a mom. The character of John by Josh Hartnett. I like Josh Hartnett. I like John in this movie. I like Michelle Williams, the girlfriend. LL Cool J. Jodie... What's her name? Jodie Lynn O'Keefe. Janet Leigh's even in it. There's lots of references to Psycho, the original Halloween, possibly Halloween 2, and just that. There's references to other classic films in this movie. Does it feel like a Halloween movie? No. The first 10 minutes, yeah, because it takes place in Haddonfield. Technically in Haddonfield. Where Marion Chambers makes a cameo appearance. Focuses on her. The first 10 minutes is great. Then we get to Laurie and all that. And Michael is chasing her down. And it all builds up to Laurie facing that demon, facing her fear, confronting her brother. After so many years of being with a third eyeball on the back of her head, just while she sleeps and drinks herself so much, and having these nightmares every night. The performances are really good in this movie. The cast of characters I really like. Adam Arkin, I forgot to mention him. The counselor, the boyfriend of Laurie in this one. I like him. I like the cast of characters. Michael, the big one. He's 50-50 with me. A lot of people don't like this performance. Chris Durand, I think he definitely did better than freaking Don Shanks did. And Brad Lorry did in Resurrection. He's 50-50 with me. There are some moments where he's like, okay, this is Michael. Then there are moments where it's like, not so much Michael. But as far as his look, I don't hate his design. I know there's 4 different masks in this movie. Obviously, the one that's more prominent, I like that one the best of the bunch. The CGI shot, I think they should have just cut that out. I could have edited that better. You didn't really need that shot. The K&B, which was the original mask that they were going for, I don't like that mask very much. There are some shots where you do see it, and long, wide shots where he's further back, but up close and shit, that's the, I think they call it the Stan Winston mask. I think that's what it's called. I think that's what it's called. But it's a decent mask. It's closer to the original in some degree, but it's not quite. The eyes showing, I don't like. It should have been blacked out. You can't see Michael's eyes, especially when Laurie knees him in the groin and he's just like, you kicked me in the balls, man. Michael is cool in this movie in some parts. The final fight between him and Laurie is really awesome. I prefer it over the 2018 Halloween Ends, all that crap. It's executed much better in this movie. It builds up to this final confrontation. I just like that whole aspect. Taking place in California in this private school. This is coming off of post-Scream, so it's going to have that Scream vibe. This movie doesn't age entirely perfectly.
And at the same time, story-wise, characters and all that, I think it helps that. The music, I'm not too crazy about. I know that's a hot take, I gotta say. The music's not my favorite. It just doesn't do it, especially when you have cues from Scream in it. But it's literally as a YouTuber named Dave McRae. I'm gonna mention this guy. This guy I get a lot of information about Halloween from. He's a really awesome YouTuber. You ought to check him out. He's a hardcore Halloween fan. He's a Halloween purist. Um, I agree with most of the things he says about when it comes to Michael Myers. He doesn't like H2O. He described this movie as Michael Myers walked on the set of Dawson's Creek. And I can actually agree because I've seen pieces of Dawson Creek and I'm like, yeah, I can see where he's talking about. But overall, this movie is the reason I was introduced to Michael Myers. I was introduced to Halloween as a whole. And it brought me to the original Halloween. And here we are. This movie is the reason for that. And that's why I prefer it at my number 2 list. For a while, I considered 2018 in my number 2 list. And this is my number 3. But then I realized, I was like, okay, I see the faults of 2018 and such. And overall, as far as like the build-up to this final confrontation between Laurie and Michael was far better handled. It was far better handled. Her chopping his head off, I still think that is Michael. I will not deem myself to think that that's that damn paramedic in Resurrection that has Larry's crushed, completely retconning everything. We don't talk about Resurrection after H2O. H2O is number 2. Resurrection is number 13, the bottom of the list. It is a dumpster fire of a movie in comparison to this. This movie brought the series back to form too. And it performed extremely well in the box office too. So, even though it does have its flaws, I prefer it at my number 2 for the obvious reasons that I already said. And it will remain that way until they come out with something that could potentially beat it. Like 2018 pretty much almost did. Or did for a little bit. But now we've reached to the final, and obviously, no shocker, the original classic by John Carpenter. This movie is a timeless masterpiece in my eyes. This movie is the pure definition of simplicity and executed perfectly. It's a simple story, a simple premise. A little boy named Michael Myers, on Halloween night, 1963, kills his 17-year-old sister, Judith Myers. 15 years later, after being in an asylum, he escapes to continue his murderous spree again and again and again on Halloween night, 1978. All the while, he is pursued by a psychiatrist who spent 15 years trying to reach him and another 7 trying to keep him locked up because what he realized behind this boy's eyes was purely and simply evil. While Michael is stalking a young 17-year-old Laurie Strode, who is a bookworm, an innocent person in all of this, and her 2 friends, Annie Brackett and Linda, who I completely forgot her last name. I can't believe I did that. I'm not a Halloween fan anymore. Anyways, what is there to say that hasn't already been said about this movie? Michael Myers is the pure definition of evil in this movie. The way he is portrayed by Nick Castle, along with the writing and the directing by John Carpenter and Deborah Hill. Okay? It's a simple movie, but affected perfectly. It all came together in such a way. The lighting, the cinematography, the music, my God! The greatest horror music ever made, in my eyes. My opinion. A lot of people's opinions probably as well. Michael Myers is... You don't know if he's human or supernatural in this. And that's what makes him so mysterious and so scary. And the fact that John Carpenter brought all your fears to your hometown in this movie. Okay? Jaws. by Steven Spielberg made you afraid to go in the water because of a killer shark. John Carpenter brought Michael Myers to everyone's hometown, where this can actually happen. You never know someone's invading your home. You could be watching a movie or playing a game. You won't know there's somebody standing behind you who's going to slit your throat. Shit like that. Michael Myers scared the crap out of a lot of people in 1978 and 1979 because this movie, it took a little bit for the movie to actually ramp up when it came out. But man, when it ramped up heavy and fast. And it became the highest independent movie up until the Blair Witch Project came out. By the way, that's my second favorite horror movie. I absolutely love the Blair Witch Project. Halloween is the Gone with the Wind of horror movies. It's lightning in a bottle. It's lightning in a bottle. You're not going to get that lightning again. You're not going to get the same lightning. It took 12 other sequels, and you still can't match up to this. This is the perfect horror movie in my eyes. It's my number one movie of all time because of the creative liberties, the genius behind it, the cast of characters, the acting, the production that went behind it. I've seen a lot of documentaries on how they made the movie. It's Michael Myers. It's Halloween. It's the GOAT. The greatest of all time of horror movies. No horror movie is going to beat this. I've seen a lot of horror movies in my time. There's never going to be a horror movie that's going to top Halloween. Halloween is the gold standard of everything, and it is leading to Halloween the game that we've been building up to. This video is going on too long, and I've gone off topic quite a few times, but I can guarantee you, I actually have tried to do this type of ranking multiple times, and it just didn't work out. So I just thought, you know what? Just go with the flow. We'll see where it goes. Because I tried to script it a certain way. I was like, this scripting stuff is taking too long. But I just go with the flow. Just go with it. Halloween franchise ranking, y'all. And I'm sorry again that I went from my camera to this. I know it confused. But whatever. I'm just off topic. But no, Halloween, it's my favorite horror franchise. It's Michael Myers, man. Michael Myers, the GOAT. The man, the myth, the legend. The trick is to stay alive. Everyone's entitled to one good scare. You know? The night he came home. And I do plan on doing other rankings. Friday the 13th is definitely on the list. One of these days I'm going to do that. What else do I got to say? By the way, I want to show you this. Shit. Hang on. There you go. If you don't have this collection, I recommend it. If you even can find it, because it's rare. Back in 2014 this came out. And this is obviously the 4K release. The newest 4K release. And then I got the David Gordon Green trilogy here. But, yeah. Oh, by the way. There you go. Found that online. Stuck a picture of myself on there. Last Survivor. I survived a Halloween massacre. Yeah. I'm totally not a Halloween fan. I swear. But anyways, I thought, you know what? Let's start the new year off, 2026. Let's just do this ranking. Let's just do it right. And let's just see. One of these days I'm going to do the horror franchise fan films that I made. I'm going to rank them as well. I actually have covers of them. I'm probably going to do a tier list instead of just ranking them the way I've been doing them. But we'll see. Friday the 13th on the list. The horror franchise films that I made. Nightmare on Elm Street. I got to do them at some point. Might as well. Scream movies. Jeepers Creepers. I haven't seen Reborn. I have no desire to watch Reborn. Hellraiser definitely is on the list, but I haven't seen every single movie. Just letting you know. And Chucky. I've seen all the Chucky movies. So there's quite a few things I can do. So do you guys just let me know what you guys want in the comment section below. And if you like what I'm doing, hit that subscribe button. That's the first time I've ever said that on my channel. I never really recommended that. I just go with the flow with my channel, see where it goes. But I'm rambling too long. So this is Clay Frederick of the Horror Franchise signing off, and if you like my content, hit the like, subscribe, see where we go. Can't guarantee everything. But I'm out of here, y'all. I hope you guys have a good day, good night, whatever time it is. And I'll see you guys on the next one, all right? Peace out. Have a good one.